Well, hello, this is Carl with Blossom Hill California Native Plants, and this is the second video of 2021. And in this video we'll accumulate this over a few months, and this video will highlight some new plants and some plants of interest during that flower during this time of year, as well as the growing puppy that plans to get in the shot whenever she can. So on the lower right, you'll see sulfur buckwheat. The blooms are turning to brown. In the back, Santa Cruz Island buckwheat, Eriogonum arborescens, has a nice bloom going. Nice plant. It doesn't need a lot of trimming. Nice bloom this time of year. And in the front, and kind of the star at this time of year, is Salvia pachyphylla rose sage. This is really prime time for rose sage. It is July 6th, and rose sage has been blooming for about a month now. It's really nice. This plant will bloom most of the summer. It needs to be pruned back substantially, probably half of it removed after the bloom in the fall. A nice shot on a July morning. Here's a plant that was new to the nursery this last year. Zauschneria canum, a California fuchsia canum. It's a smaller fuchsia, less aggressively spreading than Mexicana. This is smaller, but it's only been in the ground for 4 or 5 months now. And it's starting its bloom. The fuchsias, of course, are nice color during the summer. This makes a nice plant and blooms with additional water. This part of the garden gets watered about every 2 weeks. Here's one to highlight for next year. This will be new in the nursery. We'll have a few plants available, fairly small supply. Arctocephalus pichonesis, Margarita's Joy Manzanita. Small Manzanita. This plant is 4 years old. It gets absolutely no supplemental water all summer. Has done very well. Of course, is dormant right now. Blooms in January, February, and really is a nice, small, upright Manzanita for a smaller garden or as an accent in a larger garden. So this will be available next year in the nursery. Margarita's Joy Manzanita. Here's a quick look at Fuchsia paradoxa, Apache plume. And just to take a quick look at the plumes the seed makes, it's kind of an attractive thing for the summer. You'll see a white flower. They flower during the spring. Now occasional white flowers, and then they turn into these attractive little plumes, and the seed floats away on those. It does not, or it has not reseeded here, but it's a nice desert plant. Here's a look at our desert willow, Chalopsis linearis. It's about 5 years old. It still has a few blooms on it. Heavy bloom time was during June, and starting to come into its own as a tree. Here's a quick look at California buckwheat, Eriogonum fasciculatum. Behind it, so there's a red buckwheat, Grande rubescens, and there's a very small plant here, the desert marigold. This one, it has a tiny bloom on it, yellow. And this one is, of course, has been available. It's a short-lived perennial. It'll be available in 4-inch pots. And this one is just starting to grow. Expect this to flower throughout the summer. It's a nice summer color. As this one gets bigger, it'll offer more. And we have looked at this in other videos. Here's a nice look at narrowleaf milkweed. A lot of interest in the milkweeds. Attract butterflies. In full bloom right now. Here's one that was new to the nursery last year, St. Catherine's lace. It's a large buckwheat. This is about 7 or 8 months old. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it with the sun on it. I'll try and come back with a better picture to show you the color. White flowers in full bloom right now. Eriogonum giganteum. St. Catherine's lace. Here's a look at 3 asters. 2 Aster chilensis on the left side, and the star of the group right now is Purple Haze. Aster chilensis Purple Haze. On the right is Aster chilensis, and that has white turning to partially lavender flowers, a little bit more upright. In the back, you can't see it real well, but it's in the middle, is Aster occidentalis. Has a lavender flower. Doesn't appear to be that much difference from the Aster chilensis. We'll keep an eye out on this. We may go with the Aster chilensis because it appears to have a little bit more show, better structure, more vigorous, but we'll keep an eye on it this summer. But certainly the star of the group is the Purple Haze. Looks really nice, has a nice form and nice color. You'll see these up at higher elevations. Well, I've seen them 6,000 to 8,000 feet up in the Sierras, and they're in full bloom in July. Of course, it's a late spring up there. This was a drought year. Down here they get larger, bloom earlier, and with some water will bloom for quite a while. Nice summer color. This is a plant that'll be new this coming fall to the nursery. Bush snapdragon, Gambelia juncea. Starts flowering in July. Again, this is the beginning of July. Will flower for most of the summer. I was a little worried these weren't going to winter that well with frost, but it did just fine. Grew back and has some nice summer color. It did exceptionally well that last year, and now it'll be available in the nursery, and we'll have quite a few of these. Here's one that was new this year, Encilia farinosa, brittlebrush, and you can see it's just going to start its bloom right now. Has a few flowers on it. Interesting plant, kind of flat topped. So far stays fairly small and compact. And again, our guest makes an appearance. And this was in the nursery for the first time this year. Here's Achillea millefolium paprika, and this was just planted about a month ago. Again, it's the middle part of May. Very nice flower color and complements the white really nicely. It's now mid-August, and we'll take a review of flowering plants during this time. We will go through the fuchsias. The genus is either Zauschneria or Epilobium, more commonly Epilobium, so just know that. This is Mattole River fuchsia. The species name is Septentrionalis. This gets garden water, and it's spectacular from now until frost. A great plant if you need something larger, cascading. As I mentioned, garden water. It gets watered every 2 or 3 days. This is right next to the house, and it's a great plant for that. You can see it gets pretty big. We've seen this before in other videos. We cut this back to just almost the soil in the winter, and it grows back to here during this time of year. Here's the Mexicana fuchsia. This is just starting to flower. It does get water as the canum about every 10 to 14 days, and this will cascades over the rocks. It's a nice look, and it will flower until frost. We can take a look at the rose sage while we're here. it is done flowering, which is nice to see it for the most part. Rose sage, Salvia pachyphylla. Here's another fuchsia. Species name is Canum. Smaller fuchsia, but a fuchsia, you can see the typical fuchsia flowers. And this is a nice plant. We brought it in last year, sold a bunch of them. Well, we got a visit from a hummingbird as scheduled. So hummingbirds do like this plant, the fuchsias in general this time of year, because there's not much else. And it blooms now until frost. In back you can see the Santa Cruz Island buckwheat, Eriogonum arborescens. And our hummingbird is back, so we'll take a look and stay on this. Well, now it's gone. There's another fuchsia, Catalina. California fuchsia Catalina. It's more of a bush type. This one does very well in garden type water, more frequent water. It'll be more flowering, more aggressive. Here it's pretty dry. And it just started to flower. Like the other fuchsias, it'll flower until the first frost, mid to late November usually. Nice silver gray foliage, which makes it a nice accent plant as well, along with bigger shrubs. One of the stars this time of year is desert willow. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hummingbird on that one now as well. Desert willow is blooming. Again, it's mid-August, and it just is very nice this time of year. It has a nice structure and blooms most of the summer. This one, again, gets water every 10 to 14 days. Chelopsis linearis. This is Encilia actini. With moisture this time of year, this will start flowering again. Days are getting a little bit shorter. This is in the part of the garden that only gets watered every 10 days to 2 weeks. Encilia actini. Well, this is kind of an odd shot for our native plant videos. We usually look at smaller plants. This year, for the first time, we're bringing in blue oak, Quercus douglasii. And this is a blue oak that's on the property. This blue oak is probably 60 years old, maybe 70 years old. I don't really know. I believe it's been here since the 60s or 70s anyway. And these will be, there's a fairly slow growing oak, not as big as the valley oak, Quercus lobata. It has smaller leaves, it is deciduous, and these will be available fall of 2021 this year. Blue oak. You see these up in the Sierra foothills, see them in the coastal range, fairly common at mid to low elevations. Here's another blue oak, obviously younger blue oak that we planted on our property. This one is about 8 foot tall, and it's 5 or 6 years old and just starting to get into, look like a tree. So fairly slow growing. Boy, it's just nice to take a look at Cleveland sage this time of year. Salvia clevelandii. Here's a new one for fall of 2021. Corythrogrine phylogenifolia. I think I got that right. Common name is silver carpet. And it blooms during the day. It has a nice light purple flower. This is later in the afternoon. I tried to get as many blooms. I'm afraid I got this plant a little bit after its prime, so I put a potted plant next to it so you can see the color of the blooms. Nice. This plant's about 3 years old, so fairly compact, low growing, mildly spreading. Makes a nice addition for summer color and is pretty drought tolerant as well. Silver carpet, also known as California asters, but that's a confusing common name, so we'll call it silver carpet. One nice little small surprise we've looked at before is 5-needle Thermophila, Thermophila pantachata, and it seems to bloom all the time. A nice small plant, accents and rocks, that type of thing. Thermophila pantachata, 5-needle Thermophila. In the back here you can see the California Buckwheat, Eriogonum fasciculatum. The flowers are spent now. Here's a nice look at Wayne Roderick daisy, Regeron glaucus. This is a selection from Seaside Daisy. Does better inland, and you can see blooms most of the summer. During July it looked a little sparse, but this gets water as the others every 10 to 14 days, and starting to come back with longer nights, little bit cooler temperatures. We have had a lot of smoke, so maybe you can notice the haze, but these are doing very well this time of year. So I hope you enjoy the plants and the video, and we'll look forward to seeing you. If you need some plants, please check the website for plant sale dates. We're also open by appointment starting in October, and hope you enjoy this again and enjoy your gardening.